Flowers of evil, the garden that whispers, deadly secrets, sound of cutting wind, mixed with the rustling of dry leaves. The screen shows a close-up of red, almost black petals, trembling in a cold moonlight with drops of dew that look like blood. An indistinct whisper echoes, like voices muffled by the wind. Have you ever walked through a garden at night and felt a chill, as if something was watching you? Not the wind, not the branches, but something alive, hidden among the leaves. In 2017, a village in the interior of Brazil was engulfed by a mystery that to this day makes residents lock their doors at nightfall. An abandoned house, a garden that never dies, and a presence that whispers secrets no human being should hear. This is the story of Flowers of Evil, and when you finish it, you'll never look at the plants in your yard the same way again. Music rises, low and pulsating, with a touch of dissonant strings. Image of an old house with broken windows and ivy crawling along the walls like veins. The sound of crickets is cut off by a dry snap, like twigs snapping. São Bento was the kind of place where time seemed to have stopped. Dirt streets, whitewashed houses, and a silence that weighed on the shoulders. At the end of one of these streets, hidden by high walls, was the Silveira house. Abandoned since the 1980s, it was more than just a ruined building. It was a legend. The elders told stories about the Silveira family, who one day simply disappeared. Some said they made a pact with something dark. Others swore that the back garden, full of flowers that never faded, was cursed. Cut to a stylized drawing of black roses, with thorns so long they looked like knives. No one approached the house. Children made up jokes about the garden that eats people, but even they felt a chill down their spines when they passed by. And there, the smell of flowers, sweet and cloying, reached the streets on windless nights, as if the garden wanted to be noticed. And then in 2017, everything changed. Ana Clara, a 22-year-old girl, arrived in São Bento with her mother, Dona Lucia. They rented the house next to Casa do Silveira, fleeing from a past they never explained. Ana was curious, restless, the kind who challenged ghost stories with a mocking smile. Cursed flowers? That's country hokum. But something in that house pulled her, like a magnet, sound of footsteps on damp earth. The screen shows a silhouette jumping over a wall with a flashlight shaking in his hands. One night, Ana couldn't take it anymore. He took a flashlight and climbed the wall of the Silveira house. What she found was not just a garden, it was a living maze. Vines moved slowly, as if they were breathing. Red roses, so dark they seemed dyed with blood, gave off a head-spinning scent, mixing desire and nausea. In the center of the garden, a crooked tree stood, its exposed roots resembling skeletal hands trying to escape the earth. Ana felt a shiver, but also a sick curiosity, as if the garden was whispering her name. Sound of indistinct, almost hypnotic whispers that seemed to say, "Stay." She returned home that night, but something was wrong. Dona Lucia noticed that her daughter's eyes were different, glassy, distant, as if they could see beyond the world. Ana started to change. He spent hours drawing, flowers with petals that looked like faces, roots that intertwined into human shapes, eyes that seemed to scream. "They talk to me, Mother," she said, her voice shaking. "The flowers, they tell stories. Stories of people who disappeared here, image of an open notebook with disturbing drawings. The sound of a pencil scratching paper faster and faster. Days passed, and Ana sank deeper into obsession. She returned to the garden every night, even when Dona Lucia begged her to stop. "It's like they're calling me," Ana confessed, with a smile that didn't seem like hers. The neighbors began to notice strange things. The garden, which had previously been hidden by the walls, seemed to grow beyond its limits. Creepers invaded the streets at night, crawling like snakes. The smell of the flowers, now unbearable, reached even the most distant houses, bringing nightmares to those who inhaled it. People reported feeling an irrational urge to enter the garden, as if they were hypnotized. Sound of a heart beating, slow but getting louder. Donna Lucia, desperate, called the local priest, Father Ignazio. He was a serious man, known for facing stories of hauntings with skepticism, but when he returned from the Silvera house, he was pale, his hands shaking. "That garden is not from God," was all he said. He refused to return, and days later he left São Bento without explanation. Anna, on the other hand, was getting worse and worse. She stopped eating and sleeping. Her drawings became darker, deformed faces, flowers with teeth, a tree with roots that formed a human body. In one of the drawings she wrote, in crooked letters, "They chose me." Sound of distant thunder. The screen shows dark clouds covering the moon. The silence is broken by a muffled scream. Then Anna disappeared. It was a stormy night, and Donna Lucia found her daughter's room empty, with the window open and the sketchbook on the floor. The police were called, but no one wanted to enter the Silvera house. The locals whispered that Anna had been taken by the garden, like others before her. A group of volunteers led by Marcos, a former police officer who didn't believe in legends, decided to investigate. They entered the garden armed with flashlights and machetes, but what they found made them question their own sanity. A stylized image of flashlights cutting through the darkness. The sound of heavy breathing mixed with the rustling of leaves. The garden seemed larger than it should have been, as if it defied the laws of space. The vines moved, brushing against the volunteers' legs like living fingers. The flowers glowed in the light of the flashlights, pulsing as if they had hearts. In the center, the crooked tree seemed larger, more menacing, with roots that buried deep in the earth. Marcos, the bravest of the group, began to dig under the tree. What he found changed everything. The sound of shovels in the earth, followed by an oppressive silence. Among the roots were bones, dozens of them. Some were old, brittle, belonging to people who had been missing in the area for decades. Others were more recent, still with bits of tissue clinging to them. The roots of the tree were entwined with the skeletons, as if they were embracing them, as if they had pulled them into the earth. And the flowers, they seemed to be sucking something from the remains, glowing brighter with each shovelful of dirt removed. A gurgling sound, like something liquid being sucked up. Marcos said he heard voices as he dug. It was them, the flowers. They were laughing. He stopped talking, his eyes wide, and fell to his knees. Another volunteer tried to help him, but he too began to act strangely, laughing and crying at the same time. The group fled in panic, leaving behind their tools and flashlights. Marcos never returned to São Bento. They say he lives in a psychiatric hospital, muttering about flowers that sing. Image of a petal slowly falling, stained red. The sound is a low whisper, barely audible. The police tried to burn the garden, but the fire would not catch. The flames licked at the plants, but they remained intact, as if mocking them. Machines were brought in to uproot the tree, but they broke when they touched the roots. Eventually, the garden was sealed off with higher. Walls and danger signs were put up, but it remains there, growing, spreading its scent throughout the city. The residents avoid talking about what happened, but everyone knows Anna was never found. Some believe that she became part of the garden, that her soul is trapped in the roots, feeding the flowers. Others say that she is still there, waiting, calling to whoever dares to enter. A quote appears on the screen: "Flowers do not speak, but they keep secrets that no man should know." An excerpt from an anonymous diary found in the house. The sound of wind mixed with whispers that seem to say, "Come, come." The screen slowly fades to black. The Silvera house still stands in Sao Bento, untouched, watched over by a garden that never dies. The whispers never stop and the smell of flowers still fills the streets on moonless nights. The question that remains is, what really happened to Anna? And what are those flowers hiding? A long pause with heavy silence. Maybe the truth is buried too deep to be discovered, or maybe it's waiting for you. Music rises with high strings and a chilling tone. If you think this is just a story, comment below. Tell us if you've ever felt something strange near a garden at night, or if you've ever heard whispers that you can't explain. And before turning off the lights today, take a good look at the plants in your backyard. Are you sure they're just standing still? Subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and don't miss the next video, because sometimes the greatest terror is where we least expect it. Screen cuts to black. One last whisper echoes, "Come in." Until the next story.